Hey everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Welcome to your reading today. Today I have a beautiful reading prepared for you called Pump Up the Jam, Solar Eclipse in Aquarius. And happy Valentine's Day for those of you that are checking in today on Saturday, February 14th. We will be having a solar eclipse on Tuesday in Aquarius, which is going to kick off over the next couple of years some eclipses that we'll be having in Aquarius and Leo. So welcome to your reading, and I'm going to go ahead and get into each pile. Pile number one is the Deliverance card. If you're feeling the energy of this card, you can see the lightning cracking in the background and the rain coming down and the lightning in the sky. That's very much that kind of eclipse energy. And on this card, it says release, a fresh approach, liberation from obstruction and exhilaration, finding a solution. So if you're feeling that card number one, you'll choose pile number one. For pile number two, we have biting down. And the imagery on this card is depicting dragons, which is also very eclipse-like because when you have eclipses, it involves Rahu, Ketu, which are the north node and south node, the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. So here we have biting through, and this talks about taking decisive action, justice, tenacious devotion to a task. Okay, if you're feeling that, you'll choose pile number two. And for pile number three, we have darkening of the light, which is what happens during an eclipse, particularly a solar eclipse. We're going to have basically what happens is the sun's light is obstructed. So that is what we have on eclipses time. Solar eclipse time is the darkening of the light. And you can see the girl here with this beautiful background. It looks like she's sitting in a field in the moonlight. Okay. And this card talks about looking inward and self-protection. So if you're feeling the energy of pile number three, you will go ahead and choose that. And I'll have timestamps in the description box below. And did you guys see, while I get the cards put to the side here, did you guys see the Super Bowl performance with Bad Bunny? I thought it was fantastic. And I thought it really highlighted the Jupiter and Cancer of the moment with all the different flags of all the countries displayed and, you know, this kind of like celebration of the homeland. I thought that that was really, and the message too, there's no force more powerful than love. All of that to me is very much a Jupiterian kind of a message, and that kind of like expression of warmth toward the homeland is very much an energy of Jupiter and Cancer. So that, which of course Jupiter is in Cancer right now. So that kind of really struck a chord with me with that Jupiter and Cancer. But with that said, let's go ahead. I'm going to ring the bell and we are going to get into the reading. Pile number one, welcome to your reading. You chose Deliverance, and today's reading is called Pump Up the Jam, Solar Eclipse and Aquarius. And we're talking about finding a fresh, new approach for you with this Deliverance card. We're talking about new insights coming through, flashing through, illuminating the sky. Like a lightning crashes. Reminds me of that song from a long time ago where it's like lightning crashes and new mother cries. Her intentions fall to the floor. I don't know. That's an old song. For anyone in there, any Gen Xers or older millennials out there, you'll know what song I'm talking about. But it's called Lightning Crashes. But let's go ahead, pile number one, and let's get into your reading and let's talk about what we can see. What is pile number one on this solar eclipse in Aquarius? What do they need to know here? When we talk about finding a fresh approach, there's the World card just popped out at me, talking about all the great work you've already been doing. pile number 1. Let's go ahead and see. The Hermit, the Sacred Journey. Sometimes we go it alone. Let's see. I'm going to stop here. The Chariot. But nothing is stopping you, pile number 1. I will tell you that much. What a fiery reading here. Ooh, we have 3 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. And sometimes heartache and pain, struggle will just cause us to kind of like break out of our shell, move in a new direction, try something totally different. Sometimes when we've come from such a place of pain and hurt and struggle, you know, all we want to do is get away from that, try something new, and be happy again. So pile number 1, let's go ahead and see what else we have. We have rebalance, reevaluate relationships, justice, and fair play. Okay. And this is interesting because I feel like what you're saying is, Natalie, in the past, I got the short end of the stick. It was always me with my heart broken. It was always me trying to manage my hurt feelings around other people and what they were doing to me so that I didn't feel bad for the things that they were doing to me. And let me tell you, Natalie, it was a head fuck. Okay. And I feel like what you're saying is, I am not going to do that anymore. Okay. I'm putting my happiness, 4 of Wands, I'm putting my happiness first. Okay. I'm going to put myself first. And if I don't feel I'm getting the respect that I deserve, or if I don't feel appreciated, I'm out the door. Okay. And with the Knight of Wands, we could see a lot of impulsivity. We could see a lot of like moving or leaving. With the Chariot, a lot of impulsive bouncing around, moving or leaving or going back and forth. But I think at the end of the day, pile number 1, all you want to be is happy. All you want to be is peaceful, happy, enjoying. Okay. And yeah, so we have a rebalancing that is needing to come into play here, pile number 1, when it comes to your relationships. It's like, I'm sick of bouncing around all over the place, but I just want to be happy. But if I don't like something, I will leave. Okay. And that may involve physically getting into your car and leaving. Okay. And I feel like some of you are like, yeah, I'm over people leaving me. I will leave you. I'll leave you first. Pile number 1. Maybe some of you, 3 of Swords in the past, it wasn't fair. Someone came and go as they pleased, and you were always waiting for open arms for them. And I feel like that isn't where you're headed now. That's not where you're going. Okay. You want an accounting with Libra, justice, etc. You want an accounting of who promised what, who said what, who did what. And if the scales don't balance, bye-bye, is what I feel like you guys are saying. 1212 in the house, pile number 1, 1212, 1212. I am focused. Okay. And when I see 1212, I'm thinking of like, I can only focus on 1 or 2 things at a time. I can't, and the Knight of Wands can be like that very impulsive kind of charge after it, go for it kind of energy. Very focused, very passionate. But it's like, I can only focus on a couple things at a time, because if I do too many things, I'll get out of focus. Okay. Stay focused on your best possible future and remain optimistic throughout the entire journey. Yeah. And, 4 of Wands is like, let's try to have a good attitude. Okay. Let's try to have a good attitude, remain optimistic. Life is a journey. Life is a highway, that type of thing. Okay. Your angels are right behind you as you turn your dreams into reality. 1212, I am focused. We have here being guarded. Okay. And I feel like you're done being guarded, or you're done being around people who are constantly guarded, or who are using what happened in the past to them as an excuse to guard their heart and never love and be open and passionate again. I feel like you guys are like, you know what? I'm done with it. Okay. I'm done being guarded. I'm done putting up with other people who are guarded because someone broke their heart in 1995 and now they refuse to act like a decent person. I'm done. Okay. And it says here, and it's so interesting. It mentions the word aloof, which is oftentimes associated with um, Aquarius. And sometimes people are aloof because they've been hurt in the past, right? Maybe they're not naturally aloof, but they've become aloof because they've been hurt. Trust others and let them into your heart. You are lonely because you are so aloof. Okay. And people get aloof, like I said, because they've been hurt so many times in the past. And, but in order to let somebody in, somebody has to, the Knight of Wands can definitely make the first move. Okay. The Knight of Wands isn't scared to be like, okay, I'll make the first move. I'll go up to you. And, the Chariot is more than willing to meet halfway as well, and to keep the momentum going, right? Because with the Chariot, we want to keep that momentum going. And we can't keep the fire going if people are being like super aloof and guarded, right? So we've got that coming up. We have Owl observation, okay? You are being encouraged to look beyond deceiving appearances into the true reality of a situation or a person's motives. You need to hear what's really being said despite the words and emotions coming from the messenger. Okay, so this could be in the past where somebody came in, some player, some hot shot, some, too smooth kind of person came into your life, and some of you could have driven some distance to go meet this person. Some of you could have flown to take a flight to see this person. Some of you could have traveled to see them. Okay. Or they could have traveled to see you. But, the Knight of Wands shows up very flashy, very like passionate, loud, but also probably late, probably forgot half the shit that they needed to bring. Okay. Probably is coming through with a lot of energy and a lot of fire and a lot of passion. And it's easy to get moved by that type of energy. All right. But the Owl is like the cold, hard observational energy to kind of pull back from the impulsive displays of passion and kind of observe what this person is actually saying. Because they could be saying it with such a flair or such excitement that it's easy to kind of forget what they were actually saying. Okay. And so I feel like that is what you guys are kind of like in observation mode. And I feel like you're saying, if I don't like what I'm hearing, I'm out of there. Okay. Chariot can be where like we're on the fence with two different things, and we're very susceptible to changes in momentum because our emotions get pulled in one direction versus the other. Okay. And the Knight of Wands can be where somebody is, trying to distract you with a shiny object. Okay. To make you lean one way or go the other way. All right. But I feel like you guys are really keyed into that. You're on top of that game. You see it for what it is. Okay. And we have the Sun Mars. Yeah. Pump up the jam. Okay. And what's interesting about this eclipse is that it actually is very close to Mars in Aquarius. Mars is definitely in the mix in this particular eclipse. And when we have Mars in the mix, that can definitely make something be very energized, okay? But it's like the concept of who I am and the concept of what I want is very self-directed right now, and it's very energized. And I'm not going to be railroaded into some other direction besides the direction that I want to go. Okay. So it's like with Sun Mars, it's like, I want to do this and I think it's the best option. So that's what I'm doing, you know? And some of you could have been dating a lot of people like this in the past or been around people like this in the past. And now when you're around people like that, you're very guarded around that type of energy. But I also feel like you're kind of starting to embody more of that energy yourself, pile number one, and not in a bad way. Okay. It's like you're really becoming focused on what you want and going after what you want for your future happiness. Okay. And you know, some people can be very guarded because in the past there was abuse and things like that. And I totally get it, pile number one. I totally get it. But I feel like Sun Mars is like a fighter, motivated fighter who says, I am not going to, you know, let that destroy me. And I'm not going to like back down from what I want, is what I feel. And I feel like this solar eclipse in Aquarius is actually making you more resolute towards what you want. Okay. And we have here, be bold and make the first move. Absolutely. Okay. And maybe you just stayed back in observation mode in the past and were very guarded because of being around some too cool for school playboys or girls or whoever. I feel like you've kind of already learned your lessons from that now. I feel like with this eclipse in Aquarius, it's like, okay, somebody has got to stand up and be brave here. Somebody has to make the first move. Somebody has to push forward here. Like it's never going to happen if we don't do it, okay? Fools do not know, do not think I know the road I'm taking. If you find me on the road hesitating, just know that I know which way I will choose. Okay? Those are some song lyrics that I heard the other day, and I just feel like they kind of go towards you, pile number one. If fools meet you on the road and think that you're hesitating because they don't know, you're acting like you don't know where you want to go. I feel like, oh no, you know where you want to go and you know what you want to do. And it's time to make the first move. Okay. So that is how we are going to pump up the jam here, pile number one for you on this solar eclipse with Mars. Okay. And thank you so much, pile number one. I wish you all the best. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and any witty comebacks you may have as well. Let's go ahead and move. I don't know why I said that. Let's go ahead and move on to pile number two. Okay. Pile number two, welcome to your reading. You chose the Dragon card, and your card is called Biting Through. And your pile is about taking decisive action, okay, and tenacious devotion to a task, and force applied, okay, force applied with sensitivity. I really love the dragon's claw in this photo. So I feel like there's a message there of being ready to grab, to go for what you want, or to grab what you want, or to grab what you need. All right. especially for those of you that are having any issues with your hands, any pain in your hand, any cut on your hand. Okay, I do see somebody that has like super long nails as well too. All right. Could be like longer nail, like maybe somebody's like, yeah, I need to trim my nails. Actually, they're too long, is something I could be seeing here too. Isn't it funny how sometimes when there's fog, you can't tell the difference between the water and the fog and like where one ends and the others begin? Anyway, optical illusions for sure. Let's go ahead, pile number 2, and find out how can pile number 2 pump up the jam during this solar eclipse in Aquarius. Okay, how can they do it? Show me pile number 2 on this solar eclipse. All right. Ooh, 10 of Cups. Love is the answer. 9 of Wands, fighting for your love. Okay, the Star card. Connection to something deeper. And look at that beautiful Ace of Cups on the I was going to say on the Valentine's Day. Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck on Valentine's Day. Pile number 2. Lucky you. Very blessed. Okay. It didn't come easy though with the 9 of Wands, right? There's many times where you had to stand and fight by yourself or fight alone for the things. There were times when you could only wish for what you wanted. Times where you hoped and prayed, only times where you could fight, wish, hope, and pray for what you wanted. And I feel like your dreams are coming through and they're coming true. And some days with the 9 of Wands, we can get stuck in everyday survival and our thinking can get very barren. Like our thinking can get very like nothing exciting in our thinking, or just like seeing the same dull thing every day. And I feel some of you as children perhaps had very active imaginations, or you were very, you always need to have a sense of wonder in your life, is what I feel. You need to always have a connection to something greater, a sense of wonder. And, I do feel for those of you that have been by yourself for a while or been fighting for your dreams for a while. With the 10 of Cups here, I feel there's a moment of joy and bliss, peaceful happiness to share with those that you love around you. And don't forget the reason why we fight. Don't forget the reason, like all of our dreams and hopes and wishes and why we fight, right? It's so that we can build a better future for our loved ones, right? There's children in the picture here. It's so we can enjoy the time with our friends. It's so we can, have a better future for ourselves and the people that we love, right? There has to be like an emotional connection to what we're doing, right? What is that deeper emotional calling? Why do we fight, right? What are we fighting for? What is that deeper emotional connection that we're fighting for? And let's see what we have here. We have Eclipse in Taurus, a change of heart, and reevaluation. Well, that is very interesting, because I also feel with this Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck, you guys are very, very loyal, very loving, very loyal, caring souls, okay? And very protective of the people that you love, I feel too. And, for a Taurus to have a change of heart, and for those of you that are Tauruses, especially if your sun is in the later degrees of Taurus, this eclipse is squaring your sun. Or if you have planets in Taurus that are like, this eclipse could be, depending on where they are, they could be squaring your planets in Taurus. And this can be where we have to like reevaluate our commitment and our loyalty to something and see if something is still bringing us joy or not. let's see here. We've got I am disciplined. And this is something that I feel that's coming through very strongly for you guys. It's card 31, which is interesting because, you know, late 20s, early 30s is when we're having our Saturn return. And of course, Saturn is very much that energy of discipline. Your approach to life is an effective mix of both practicality and imagination. Oh my gosh, I was talking about your guys' need for imagination, but also, you know, the cold, hard truth as well is with the Nine of Wands, the truth of where we've been and how we got there and what we're fighting for. Your mind is stirring with creative ideas, and you have organizational skills to manifest them into life. And maybe that was something that you were kind of like, you know, not that, maybe that's been a hard thing to develop, I feel, for some of you. Maybe you're like, yeah, you know, I have a really good imagination. I have a really good connection to source, but I had a very hard time being disciplined with things, or I have a hard time sticking with things at times. Okay. Or I really, really have to fight hard to stay disciplined. And the need to be disciplined with time and energy is definitely coming through. And perhaps some of you are having a change of heart right now about how you are spending your energy and your time. Okay. And some of you could be feeling a little guilty too. Like, okay, I should be spending more time with the people that I love and care about. I know life is short. Okay. Um, I'm not spending enough time, you know, with the people I love and care about in, like, I kind of should be doing that more. Okay. And sometimes there's that, that tension between our hopes and our dreams and our ambitions, the discipline that it takes to accomplish them, and then also the want and need to want to be with others in love and community, right? And I feel like a lot of this is coming up for you guys on this eclipse, and this need to be kind of disciplined with how you structure and organize your time and your day. We have here demanding. Wow. Yep. You set impossible standards for your partner to meet. Be less demanding. Okay. All right. For some of you, this isn't about like a partner, or for some of you here, this could be to your own self. You have very impossible standards for your own self that you want to meet, and you feel like you're failing if you're not meeting those standards. Okay. And also, life can just be very demanding. You see her here. She looks like perhaps she's a single mom with a child. Well, I don't know if she's a single mom, but she's a mom with a child, and she has her computer open. She's trying to clean, parent, and work all at the same time. Okay. And the house is a mess, and there's, you know, clutter everywhere. Okay. And there can be this thing of, I wish things were different. How can I make things better, not only for myself and the people that I love? All right. And some of you could be setting very impossible, very high standards for yourself, and to kind of like do it all, you know, or you have a job that's very, very demanding, and you're like, oh, I wish it could be different. Okay. There's so many other projects and things I would like to do. It's just life is so demanding. It never lets up. Okay. And for those of you here who are very disciplined and you wish things were different, and you're really looking for some heart medicine on this solar eclipse in Aquarius, it truly is spending time with your loved ones, I feel. Okay. That truly is the heart medicine that is needed right now. but I feel like it's like, okay, but then I'm worried that everything else is going to fall way behind, or da da da, this type of stuff. Okay. And so I get it, pile number 2. I do, where you're coming from there. Antelope, decisive action. Yep. And you know what? It says decisive action on this dragon card as well. So decisive action, or the need to take decisive action, is really coming through, not just wish and dream and hope that things could be better, but actually create some organization around what's going on so that your creative ideas have more room to bloom. You're being told unequivocally that it is time to get moving. All right. Set your intentions and take action towards making your dreams a reality. You have a door in front of you. Trust your instincts here. Okay. And antelope is about life is speeding up. Life is going to start to get faster. I mean, some of us are like, God, it's already demanding enough. It's already fast enough as it is. Okay. And, you know, now's the time to take that decisive action. And Spirit's telling you it's time to get moving. Okay. Whether that be, you know, physical movement. The 9 of Wands is definitely about physical strength and, you know, working on physical strength as well. It's time to get moving. It's time to be disciplined about the physical strength and getting moving on that. If you have a lot of hopes and wishes, but life is just too demanding, life is unkind, schedules are terrible, etc. Okay. And Taurus is also a sign where we need more relaxation. You know, Taurus is a sign that moves very slow, very deliberately, and also needs to move in a very relaxing, luxurious fashion as well. So it's like, I changed my mind. I'm not going to commit myself to XYZ 1, 2, 3. Instead, I'm going to take that time and put it towards taking a vacation with my family, or spending time with friends, or working on the projects that I really, really love and really, really want to do. Okay. And this I am disciplined energy can also be the energy of saying no. Like, you know, 9 of Wands is right before the 10 of Wands. It's right before that final moment of exhaustion. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to let myself get there. I'm just going to tell people, no, sorry, I can't keep up. That's too demanding. I need to change my time here. Okay. We have Chiron Pluto. And this is where we truly overcome our insecurities. Okay. And this is where we truly overcome our deepest fears. And for those of you that have had a fear of being abandoned, a fear of being, you know, some people can really have a fear of like dying alone too, as well. It's something that I'm just getting. Maybe some of you are like, man, that's so painful to see people kind of like go through that. It's so hard to like see people kind of like get to the end of their life and like they work so hard, but it feels like they have nothing to show for it because the love, Ace of Cups, isn't there, you know? And that pain that we realize when everything we've been doing to transform ourselves is kind of bringing us back to the same spot that we were in before, and that truly we need like activation in the heart space, you know. We need change on such a meaningful level that it goes right to the core of our very deepest fears, you know. And I feel a lot of you in this pile, you've been doing so much to kind of bite through and kind of push through your greatest and your deepest fears. And sometimes like realizing what they are and naming them out loud and saying them, it like helps you put it in perspective. So then you can start making the choices that you need to make sure that you're kind of like taking care of business in that way. Okay. And we have emotions are running high, super moon. Okay. And yeah, I mean, this is a solar eclipse. It's all solar eclipses are technically new moons. So we just had a full moon in Leo at the very beginning of February. And perhaps, some shit happened and some things kind of came to the surface and it was painful. All right. But this can be where our emotions are really like getting us into a spot of like triggering some old traumas. Okay. And especially when we're being kind of like pushed to our brink as far as work and what we can do and what we can handle. Um, sometimes for some people that can lead to like an emotional breakdown or an emotional breakthrough. Okay. And I feel like you're having an emotional breakthrough, pile number 2, but do know that the emotions of other people around you in your environment may be quite high right now. And there may be a lot of people that are kind of acting out of their lower impulses due to triggers and emotions running really, really high. Okay. And, and I kind of feel that may be happening with some people that you notice kind of in your life, whether it's family, people you live with, whether it's your children, whether it's your parents, friends, whoever. Some people, like you may notice, are getting really, really triggered and really, really like emotional at this moment. Okay. Um, that's because like the level of toxicity and pain that's kind of like rising up in society right now has really triggered like a lot of deep, deep, deep um, fear and insecurity and emotions in others. Okay. And so, I mean, I feel like in some ways with this star card, you're kind of wanting to disconnect from that a little bit. Pile number 2. And that's okay. We can only take so much, right? Life is demanding enough. But just know there may be some people in the environment that are really, really like triggered. And if you have people like that around you, it may be time to take decisive action, to be really disciplined with your boundaries and like what you will stand for versus what you will or won't tolerate, that type of thing. Okay. Um, Especially like if people are very emotional and triggered and they're coming to you and like demanding a lot from you. And that's where that discipline comes in, that ability to say no and kind of be final about it. Okay, pile number 2. So that is what I am getting for you, my lovelies. I mean, you guys keep your head above it all. You don't have to be in the chaos. A lot of people are going to be. Of course, it's eclipse time, as we know. For those of you that are sensitive, shield yourself as necessary. Okay. Thank you so much, pile number 2, and take care. Let's move on to pile number 3. Okay. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose Darkening of the Light. And today's reading is about Pump Up the Jam, Solar Eclipse in Aquarius. And your card is about looking inward first Okay. Self-protection, caution, and moderation. And you know, things get crazy sometimes on eclipses, and oof, you know, sometimes we need to take about 10 steps back from the craziness, don't we? Pile number 3. So let's go ahead and tap into the energy for pile number 3 and see what energy is coming through for pile number 3 on this solar eclipse in Aquarius. Okay, what is coming through? What does pile number 3 need to know for this solar eclipse in Aquarius? Let's check it out. For pile number 3. All right, lovelies. Focus with me now. King of Wands. Ooh. Ace of Cups. Hey now. Okay. And 10 of Pentacles. All right. Okay. 2 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. I've been waiting for this. All right. Impatiently sometimes too, if you might add. Pile number 3. Okay. Where can this go? I don't know, but my mind is totally wide open, right? Is what I feel. And, you know, there's this beautiful offering of love and stability, a future of love and stability. But we also see like a reminiscing to the past, I feel, of a time when a person was just kind of like young and starting out on their own and didn't have really, like, everything was fresh, everything was possible. There was no um like, I don't want to say there was no connection to anything, but there just was like an open canvas for what life could be or where you could go or what you could do. Okay. But I also am feeling an energy in this pile of entrepreneurship, gain, and leadership. So pile number 3, we're going to go ahead and get into your reading, okay? We have eclipse in Cancer, acceptance, an emotional phase, or domestic development. Interesting, a domestic development. And, you know, the Ace of Cups is very open and innocent and kind of fresh and excited about what could be. Okay. And maybe some of you had thought about like living somewhere else or living overseas or moving to another place or living with, buying a home with, or living with the person that you love, buying a home for the first time, right? There's love and commitment. There's, you know, because when you buy a home, you're going to kind of commit to being there for a while. You're probably not going to sell it immediately right away. And to make such a huge investment, you really have to love it and imagine yourself there, right? And yeah, and for some of you, something could have fallen through in that area in the past, and now you're kind of looking towards a new direction, is what I feel here. We have I am nurturing. Your heart is your gift. All right, now this is very interesting because during this eclipse, the North Node is going to be in Aquarius, the South Node is going to be in Leo. Leo is associated with the heart, and South Node in Leo can be, you know, a sacrifice for love, or it could be a sacrifice of, it could be selflessly and courageously giving to a higher spiritual calling or a higher spiritual concept. Okay. But it could also represent like giving like, wearing your heart on your sleeve in a very innocent way and giving everything that you have to another person. Your heart is your gift. You're a natural born nurturer and have a great talent for helping and healing others. Yeah, Ace of Cups, definitely helping and healing others. You are the epitome of self-sacrifice. Yeah, that's what I was the words I was trying to find there, almost like self-sacrifice. Because with the South Node in Leo, the self is the sun in astrology, and so it's kind of like that self-sacrifice. You are the epitome of self-sacrifice and a protector of those you love. Okay, and this is also coming up with Cancer here, so some of you could have heavy Cancer in your chart as well too, or be very connected to the sign of Cancer right now in your life. Maybe you love a Cancer, or you care about one, or you do have Cancer in your own chart. Okay, and your heart is your gift. You are a natural born nurturer. Okay, and the Ten of Pentacles is also a great card to create stability during an established love, an established connection where there's this nurturing phase with someone. Okay, and this could be, going out and looking for a house. This could be going and looking for a new place to live with the person that you love and care about. This could be, um, having the person that you love and care about move in with you because they need a place to stay. And maybe, you've just been dating for a short time, but it's like, you know what, let me help you out, or someone doing that for you. Okay. Those are some of the things that I feel coming up in this reading. And we have too much. Okay. And this can be where we are like, where we're so nurturing and we're so loving and we're so like gung ho to step in and help out others and, give them a place to stay, let them crash on our sofa, that friend that needs help, right? Um, and we want to just help other people get on their feet, okay? Um, or maybe some of you are in that position where you're like, I'm the person that needs help getting on my feet at this point in life, Natalie. Like, there can be where we play both roles, but there can be this sense of too much where we've given almost everything we have, like openly. And with the Ace of Cups here, I'm feeling like a very innocent energy to it. You know how some people give to other people? They give gifts, they give support, charity, etc. to others, but then they expect something in return. Some people give financially to other people, or they provide something to other people, but then they want something in return. Okay. And it's like, yeah, I'll let you stay with me and crash on my couch, but I expect you to do XYZ 1, 2, 3. Okay. Um, some people are just like very nice and caring and open and sharing of what they have with others, and they do it without expectation. Now, a thank you would be nice, right? If you're in the position of giving to others or helping others or giving others a place to stay. But I feel there is like an innocence or an openness with the Ace of Cups. And with the Ten of Pentacles, it's about having enough to share and saying, how can I, the King of Wands is like, hey, how can I step in and help? Or how can I um, find what I need? Or how can I help others find what they need? Okay. And it's great, it's so awesome to have people being willing to do that in our society. But as you know, there can be dark sides to that too, with people who, like I said, expect something in return. It can be like the guy that takes you out on the date and pays and then expects that they're going to get something in return, that type of crap. right? When it's too much, like when someone's like sweeping you off their feet and they're like, ooh, we're going to move in together. We're going to, like, immediately they fall in love with you and they're like, you can come live with me and all this stuff. But then, you know, they're demanding like sex from you constantly all the time. And you're like, can I get a breath? You know, like this type of stuff is, of course, not like what we want. Obviously, these are not the best dynamics. And, you know, with this eclipse in Cancer, acceptance, I feel like this card here is telling me that in the past, there definitely like was some situations where it wasn't the best, right? Where somebody helped you, but it was like, you know, they wanted way too much from you in return, or where you helped them, but then they just kept like leeching off of you. You know, it could go both ways there. And it could be around like a living in, you know, situation, or borrowing money, or just simply sharing whatever you have to share. Okay. And for those of you who are very much all about helping to provide others who are struggling with resources, who don't have um, steady, consistent housing. Um, you know, for those of you that like foster animals, for those of you that volunteer or give to charity, thank you so much for doing that, pile number 3. Thank you so much for helping others. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. And for those of you that have ever needed help yourself and you've had to go find that for yourself, that is okay too. You know, um, we just have to make sure that, like, you know, we're not giving we're not giving literally everything we have to someone who's going to like kind of go too far with it, I guess is what you know what I mean. Pile number 3, you know what I mean. We can be very innocent in the world, and sometimes we can't really afford to be naive, super naive anymore because of situations in the past, you know. And maybe you're like, you know what, I did get accused of like being too much, like wanting to spend too much time with people, wanting to like have them over to my house too much, wanting to connect with them too much. Okay. There's also a comment here about telling other people too much about ourselves, like when we first meet them. And I will say with the King of Wands, like sometimes we can get so excited when we meet someone and we're like, yes, and we like really, really like them. But sometimes we do go overboard, like sharing way too much about ourselves when we first meet someone, right? And, you know, Cancer is about like safety. And, you know, is this a safe person for me to be sharing all this information with, right? Um, should I be like offering all this stuff to this person that like I literally just met, or is that like not very safe for me? Right? So we kind of have to like juggle that as well. We have Hedgehog and Trust. Wow. This is a reminder that even if you feel that others do not understand you or get what you're doing, it is no excuse to curl up and hide. Yeah, and this is for those of you that have felt like that you're quote unquote too much, or you've been told that you're too much in life, that you come on too strong, that you love too hard, that you're too um, you're like, I'm an open book. You know, I don't mind. I'll tell you whatever. I'm not hiding anything. Okay. Like that other people may be like, whoa, you know, but this is to say that this isn't mean if people have told you that's too much or I don't like that or whatever. Spirit is saying, don't curl up and hide. Sure, you may need a little bit of space right now. Okay. And maybe sometimes the people that you're with or around or near, maybe they're like, yeah, I need a little. And Cancer can be where we can get very smothery too, where we're like, oh, I just love this thing so much. I just want to kiss it a million times. And I mean, I'm a moon in Cancer, pile number 3, so I get it. And my poor dog has to be the beneficiary of like a million kisses. And let me tell you, my dog's an Aquarius. Her birthday is today. Happy birthday, Franny, February 14th. And sometimes when I am like giving her 1,000 kisses, she's like, oh, she gets like, she gets finally disgusted with me and walks away and goes and lays down in another area. And I'm like, okay, she's hit her limit. Leave her, give her her space for a while, right? And that can be very hard to do. And sometimes cancers get accused of being clingy or being needy or kind of like, gimme, kissy, 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 that type of thing. And we get accused of being too much or wanting to give too much love, which, by the way, is a very beautiful thing, pile number 3. It's very beautiful to want to give love and give what you have in your heart to others. So beautiful, right? But some people may pull back a little bit because they're like, okay, I need a little bit of space right now. And maybe there's sometimes like, you're like, yeah, I need to pull back sometimes too. I need my space as well. And that's actually really healthy to take space and give space. And that's one of the things that Aquarius can teach us. And Aquarius and Cancer actually have a strange relationship in the zodiac because they're an inconjunct. So they don't really make any aspect to one another. They don't see each other. So like, Cancer is an emotional water sign, connection, hug, kiss something, love something to death. And Aquarius is more cerebral. I mean, Cancers can be very cerebral too, but Aquarius is more cerebral, more detached. And I'm just being general right now, okay? But what do Cancers and Aquariuses have to teach each other, right? They can, Cancers can learn to give other people space and respect their autonomy and not smother them. Aquarians can learn to open up and trust people, right? It says trust on here, and open their heart and trust others more and give people a chance to actually to love them and nurture them and to love others and nurture them as well. Okay. So we have Uranus. Uranus, welcome to the Weirdo Show, pile number 3. This is a safe space for all my weirdos out there, for all my rebels, for all the people who have been told you're too much, you don't fit in, and all you do is try to love people. All you do is try to like open your heart to others. And for some reason, they're just like, you're too weird. I'm here to tell you, good for you. Trust the weirdness. Trust yourself, okay? The more you are being yourself, the more you are being the strange, beautiful weirdo that you are, the more like it's going to bring like-minded souls into your circle, okay? And actually this eclipse is squaring Uranus, okay? So this is a very Uranus activated eclipse. And there's a lot of change, there's a lot of like sparks flying right now in the universe, okay? And things are very much like on a razor's edge right now. And, in times of great change, we often do want to cling on to something that makes us feel like we can trust it or make us feel that we're at home with something, okay? But I just want you to say, if changes are happening in your life and it's feeling very overwhelming right now, pile number 3, trust the process. You're in the right zone. Okay. Your reading is quite lovely. Okay. And you're nurturing, you're stable, you have an open heart, you're excited and willing to show up for others and be there for others and lead the way towards a better future. Okay. So trust your instincts, trust what's coming through. And if you feel like you're a weirdo and you feel like you're too much and you feel like you don't belong and you don't fit in, good for you. You're on the right path. Welcome home. Pile number 3. Okay. And we have full moon eclipse. Interesting, because with every solar eclipse comes a lunar eclipse. They always come in pairs. And we will be having a lunar eclipse, okay, in Pisces coming up when we have the full moon in Pisces, or sorry, a lunar eclipse in Virgo when we have the full moon in Virgo, if I can think right. And we're going to be having a lunar eclipse in Virgo. Ugh, I don't know. I'm sorry, pile number 3. I'm not a huge fan of the lunar eclipses in Virgo. They've been very tough on me. So I do hope for all of us that this lunar eclipse in Virgo, and this lunar eclipse in Virgo is going to be in early March. Okay, first we're going to have our solar eclipse in Aries, and we're going to have a lunar eclipse in Virgo. Yeah, but I do like that it says conclusions are within reach. So over the last year, if these Virgo eclipses have been very tough on you, as they have me, pile number 3, I'm right there with you. That's a good sign that things are changing and that this crunchy, crappy period, especially for people who've been dealing with health issues, for me, I have multiple planets in Virgo, and anyway, it's been a nightmare for me with my health, and a lot of it started when the eclipses in Virgo. I mean, they were starting before that, but a lot of them really started really hitting hard when it was triggering my Saturn in Virgo. So bless me, pile number 3. Say your prayers for me. I'll say my prayers for you. But I am happy to see the full moon lunar eclipse here as the end of something. And I feel it's a good end. And it's more like opening up more for you. It's opening up more love, more stability, more devotion, more excitement about where life can go. I do feel like changes are coming and a difficult period is closing, and look for the beginning of March to really start to see a lot of those changes really affect and kind of kick in for you, is what I feel, pile number 3. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, my loves. And I wish you the very best. Take care of yourselves and each other.